Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of Horizons Author Lounge. And I'm so excited because, as usual, I have some amazing guests who I just cannot wait to talk with. And let's, in fact, let's just talk for a second. How has your weekend been? I know mine was amazing. I got to see a play, I got to support another Black-owned business. I'm doing so much. So when you get a chance, sometime during the show, no rush, drop down in the comments. Let me know how your weekend was. What did you do that was special? Are you reading any special books? I know I'm reading a book called Mrs. Wiggins right now, and the book is amazing. I have not been this excited over a story in quite some time, and I just want to give a huge shout out to Mary Monroe because, girl, you did that. Yes, you did. You did that. And so, if you have not read the book, make sure that you run over. I'm listening to it on Audible, but if you want to get it from Amazon or your local bookstore, do that as well because I'm telling you, you're going to really enjoy this story. This story is nothing to play with. Um, so let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to bring on my first guest, Miss Debra Owsley, and I'm really not even sure how I met Debra. I mean, I feel like I've always known you.
I think it's all through social media. We've been kind of following each other for years.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I mean, social media is a powerful thing, isn't it?
Indeed.
So, let's talk for a bit. What's been going on with you? I know you have a new book, and you do a lot of literary support, which is what I think all of us as authors it's something that we actually need.
Well, I am an avid reader. I've been a reader since I could pick up a book. I mean, I just love to read, and I, you know, didn't realize that readers have events and things like that. So when I discovered they had events, it was like on and popping.
Yes.
And I started doing some bookmarks, and I teasingly say to support my book habit because I was at that time only buying hardback books, and you know what they are now. And this is like about 20 years ago almost. So um,
That's when we called ourselves being bougie about our books. We didn't want a paperback. We needed a
I
hardback book.
wanted a hardback.
We weren't folding our pages down. We weren't bending them backwards. We had to read them like this.
And if you could see my bookshelf, everybody that comes into my home says, "Did you read all those books?" Because the spine is not cracked. It's like you don't ruin a book, you don't. And I take the cover off when I'm reading a hardback. So no, everything is intact. So those are my treasures. And like I said, a lot of them are signed, so they are, really special to me. But I started making bookmarks, like I said, to support my book habit. And then I went on to start doing custom work for a lot of the authors because they were
Yes.
seeing the bookmarks. And it just led into one thing after another. And it now pays for a little bit more than books every month. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
I do
so
understand.
it's something I love to do. And like I said, it's teaching authors how to use different swag and different items to help them market themselves and to give the readers something to hold on to, a keepsake, a souvenir with their experience with those authors. So
Mhm.
it becomes more than just a bookmark. It becomes a treat from the author, something personal.
Right. So when you're creating these
Bookmark.
bookmarks, you're not just doing this for events. You're also doing this for individual authors. Let's say an author who might reach out to you and say they would like some book covers created. You can do that for them.
I can do just about anything. I've learned a lot in the last almost 20 years. But yeah, if they want, you see, my bookmarks are not the type that you get like 5,000 for $100. It's not that type. These are laminated. These are the ones with the James Baldwin I did for Black History Month. They're
Yes.
laminated. They last forever. I've had customers tell me they had them for over 10 years. They're in a lot
That's
of
awesome.
bookstores as well. But, like I said, because they're laminated and they're heavy, they last forever. So every time an author passes one of these out, they have all their information on the back of the bookmark, which is blank right now for this one. But you can have your website, all your social media platforms, your email addresses, everything that you need to contact, the author. And like
Mhm.
I said, they're not going to just use this bookmark in your book. They're going to continue to use this bookmark because it's not going to tear up. And they're going to say, "Oh, I wonder what so and so is doing," and they're going to look on that bookmark and then go to their website or go to their social media platforms and see what's happening. So it's a marketing tool.
And that's a great marketing tool, because, as you said, this is going to be something that reader is going to carry around from book to book. They're not just going to throw it away because
Yes,
they stopped reading your book.
exactly. Because again, those ones that you get, the cardstock type ones that they're inexpensive, and I understand buying in bulk because yes, I do recommend to a lot of my clients. Yeah, if you have people who are just walking past your table collecting stuff, and Rhonda, we do a lot of book events. We cannot afford to give our good stuff to everybody because some people are just looking for
Yes.
freebies. Let's be real. But if somebody is paying you for a book, yes, you want to give them something that's a little bit more uh, nice, has some value to it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So give them the 5,000 for $100, or the 5,000 for $50. Give them that one. But the really nice one for the person who purchased your book, you're gonna get that from Debra.
And you can also mail those out. If you stick it in the envelope and you can mail it out, of course you would stamp to mail. That's also marketing. It's like, oh, she thought enough of me to send this to me, So
Yes.
it all plays in, with the promotion and the marketing side of being an author.
Now, we've gone to a social media age where we're reading a lot of books on Kindle, and we're also doing audio books. Like, for instance, I was saying earlier that I was listening to a book on audiobook. Has that affected your orders for bookmarks?
At first when Kindle came out, I was terrified. I thought I was done. But then it occurred to me, and I wish I had one at my hand. I can't reach it right now. That even if you're reading an audio book or or you're doing a Kindle book,
Mm-hmm.
people still want to collect authors' autographs.
Yes.
So, and I know, because like I said, I know I'm a reader. So what I did is I made a bookmark and it says autographed by author. And on the back of it, the authors sign their name and send it to the readers. Most readers have a collection of knickknacks from different events or treasures from different authors. They will keep that, you know,
Yes.
and it's still an autograph because even when Kindle came out with the Kindle graph, it looked terrible. And all the readers were complaining. So that's when I said, I got you. I'm going to fix this. I have a bookmark that's going to solve all your problems. And they sign the back of them, hand them out at different events, drop them in the mail, done. Happy
There you
customer.
go. That makes so much sense, because you're right. We still do book signings. We're still going to literary events. Everybody still likes that something that they can take with them, and everybody wants to take a picture with the author or get the author's autograph. And you can't autograph a Kindle, you can't autograph an audiobook, but you can autograph a book, or you can autograph that bookmark.
That's right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
So how can we get, if there's an author watching, there are quite a few authors watching, how can they get in contact with you so they may be able to get their own book covers and then bookmarks? And then not only that, um, are they able to customize it to where they can have what they want on it?
Everything, and no two bookmarks that are custom are alike. I also do shapes um, like this, which I call the dolls.
It's so cute. Why didn't you tell me about that one, Deborah?
And you know, I'm just very creative, not, I don't like to call myself an expert, but I am a bookmark expert. I mean, I have studied, I have files and files of the histories of bookmarks. And, like I said, from the simplest thing to the most extravagant thing I've done. I had one author say, I don't want anything like you've ever done before. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And, she was really, really, really picky, and I enjoyed the challenge. I mean, I loved it because she was like, "No, I don't like that. No, I like that. I don't like that." And then all of a sudden, she's like, "That's it." And I was like, and it was challenging me to be better, and I like that. So it's always something different about each bookmark that's unique to the author.
Yes,
And yes,
yes.
you can reach me. I'm on Facebook at Odeb Simply Said on Facebook. My website is litversations.com, which is in the chat. And you can just reach me at Instagram, the Litversationalist. So there's ways to reach me. Most of the time, I answer immediately because I get the alerts on my phone.
Mhm.
And, we can rock and roll. Whatever you want, I can do it for you.
Yeah, we were supposed to get together so I can get bookmarks for my Black History Month event, and time got so past me. I'm like, Deborah's gonna kill me. I can't come to this lady at the last
No,
minute.
everybody has emergencies. I have had authors call me and say, listen, I'm going to be doing this event in 2 days. And I stayed up all night making the bookmarks,
Oh,
took,
that is so sweet of you.
took them to FedEx the next day so they could
Wow.
have them when they got to the hotel. So, yeah, I mean, I have been in some tricky situations and always pulled through.
Well, I tell you what, you will definitely we will definitely have those bookmarks at our next event.
Awesome.
And for 2026, because we're doing some special things for 2026. So I'm really going to need the bookmarks for then. So I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you about that a little bit
Awesome.
later. But now you also have a book. So
Yes,
let's
I
hear about
do.
the book.
The name of the book is Think Like an Author, but Act Like a Fan. And
Ooh.
the reason why I wrote this book is because, like I said, over the last almost 20 years, I've worked with a lot of authors, and I'm talking some big shots. And they kept saying to me, all that you do for us, you need to put it in a book. And I'm like, yeah, okay, forget it. I'm not an author, blah. I just work for authors. And they're like, no, seriously, you need to write a book. So, okay, COVID hit. And I had been taking notes forever on what I had did, scribbling notes on what I have seen, what I've observed from, different events, what I saw authors do that I thought was terrible, what I thought was great. And I decided, yeah, okay, I'm going to put it in this book. And I just wanted the authors to know that marketing doesn't have to be complicated. It can
Right.
very easy, and it doesn't have to be expensive. A lot of authors are still working a couple of jobs. They're not just writing full time. They're hello. They are working. They have kids. They have responsibilities, so they need to make their marketing and their promotion easy, and it can be done. I mean, social media makes everything easy.
Yes.
It really does. And like I said, once you figure out what your blueprint is, if you don't have a strategy, you're just going to kind of just be all over the place. But this book helps you create a strategy, and it gives you over 300 different things that you can do on a budget.
I like that. I like that. So I feel like that's a really good companion to my author success guide, because I have a lot of
Tips.
premium ideas for promoting your book, all the
Mhm.
way down to free ideas for promoting your book.
Exactly.
But you do need to invest in yourself, even with the
Oh,
free ideas.
absolutely. But like I said, sometimes the indie authors, after they buy a book cover, they pay for a couple of edits. They don't have the money. So I tell those indies that are just starting out, even the seasoned authors who are just don't have the money, use free first.
Yeah,
If you use
absolutely.
free first, you're going to earn some money because they're going to buy some books. Then you can start buying into other things. But if you don't have the money use free first. It's
Yeah,
important that you're out there.
that's a word right there. And I would also add to that that even when you use free with excellence. Don't ever come across like a fly by night. Even if you're using free promotion, make sure it's the best free promotion you can possibly do. Make sure that you present yourself and your book
And your
with the most
matter.
excellence as possible because that's your brand. You
Exactly.
don't want to brand yourself as a fly by night, or you don't want to brand yourself as somebody who doesn't care or does not respect your readers. So always put your best foot forward.
Absolutely. And I also tell people, don't make all of your posts about you and your book. Make it about something else. Give a joke, share a book that you love to read, talk
Yes.
something else. Don't always just talk about your book. Be human. Be be a supportive person. Be a collaborator. Share information. Then talk about your book. Okay.
Yes.
It's like, don't make it all about you, because then you appear selfish, and you appear to only be selling, 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 and it's like people don't want to be sold all the time.
Like, oh,
They
he
don't
should talk
you-
about that doggone book again.
they don't want to be sold. They want to be convinced. And the more professional you are, then they'll give you that email address. Then they'll look further on your website. Then they'll look a little bit further into who this person is.
Yes.
I'm saying,
Yes.
when you share and just be authentic and be yourself and just be, you're not always on.
I like that. You're not always on. I love that. Let's
Mhm.
talk a bit about that. What does that mean to not always be on?
Okay. When we do book events, we're on. We are
Yes.
in selling mode. We're in um um what's the word I'm looking for? We're in meeting mode. We're in mode. After the day is done, we're more relaxed. We're more
Mhm.
calm. We start talking about the kids. We start talking about the dog. We start talking about, oh, what's good for dinner. Just natural, authentic. I'm just like you. You just like me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, a lot of times I have joined authors after an event and was like, oh my God, they were so down to earth and
Yeah.
so real. And it was like, wow. And, some of my really good friends are authors now because they were like so chill after they were off.
Yeah. I like what the Right Warrior, he's watching us on YouTube. He
Yes,
said the art of selling without selling. Don't ever
exactly.
mention the word selling. Love
Right.
this concept.
Exactly. It's like, I don't ever say buy my book. I give them reasons that you should
Right.
read the
It's
book.
about establishing relationships. It's not so much
Exactly.
about selling the book. People will purchase a book from an author they like. They will support an author that they feel that they know a little bit. They
Exactly.
don't
No,
want
I
to feel
love.
like they're being sold to or they're being disrespected or when I look at you, all I see is a dollar sign. They don't want to see that.
Exactly. Because some people, I had to tell one author, and this was many, many years ago. He was very, very grumpy, and unless you were buying a book from him, he wouldn't even smile.
Mm.
And I ended up saying to him, because I had already purchased his book, I was just in line for him to sign it. And I said to him, I want you to be as happy to see me as you are happy to see my money.
Yes.
Because it was, the arrogance was just too much. If
Mm.
somebody just came over, can I get a picture? You got a book? It was like, wow, you don't do that.
Right. Well, have you seen, by the way, he
Thank
said he
you.
loves your website in the bright colors.
Thank you.
But have you seen people where you'll ask them, what's your book about? And the first thing they say is turn the book over and it'll tell you all about the book on the back of the book. No, I want to hear you. I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
That's the thing I tell my authors all the time. You're storytellers. You are storytellers. Remember when you were a kid at bedtime, how when you would jump into bed and wait for your mom to read you a
Yes,
bedtime story? These
yes,
grown people are your little kids right now, and they want you to tell them a story. They want you to give them an experience. They want you to say, oh, and the grass was this high, and the
yes.
man looked like they want all the expression, and they want all the detail and all the enthusiasm. They want all that. They don't want you to say, look at the synopsis. They don't want that. They want an experience. They want you to read out loud. They
Right.
want a storyteller. They don't want just, flip the book over.
Well, Shaniqua Dupree is watching us from Instagram, and she said, "Be relatable." I think that sums it all up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and then the Right Warrior said he sold 3 books at a book signing, and his book club wanted to throw a party because the effort was celebrated more than the results.
Exactly.
That's huge.
That's
And the
that's
thing
that's
is,
it.
that's a great way to look at it because I have seen people who say, "I only sold 3 books today." But what if those three people that you sold books to tell 3 more people to buy the book?
That's
And
how word of mouth
typically,
works.
yes.
Okay. And
Or what if those 3 people are were somebody who can connect you with an even bigger platform?
book
You never
clubs
know.
are amazing. I know several book clubs that do the most. I'm going to shout out Ebony from the ICU Reading. That group is amazing. They put lots of authors on the map.
Mm,
And if they love you, baby, get ready because they're going to take you for a ride. They
love
gonna,
it.
they going to do it for you. And there's a lot of book clubs out there that do the same, give the same energy. And, you can't give them the blah blah blah. You got to give them the hey, and give them the energy that they want, and they can push you in different places, different rooms you never even stepped foot in.
Mm.
You
I
know,
think that's why at one time I think male authors were having more success because male authors would come in with that charm, and then they knew how to make the readers smile and laugh when they came to the table.
I'm
So,
gonna give you a quick story. This is
oh,
an author that I've been at many events with, and what he does, he pulls the female reader over to him, and he reads a passage in their ear.
ooh,
He smells good. He looks good. Yes, grab them pearls, honey. And I have seen him in action do this at least 20 times. Honey,
wow.
them girls be going in that, get that boob money and handing
Hmm.
it to him as soon as he lets go of their elbow. But I had to ask him one day, what are you saying in their ear? And he gave me the book and let me read the passage. I was like, okay, let me get some boob money too. Okay, like you didn't read it in my ear. And he's got a deep voice. Like I said, I was like, wow, So yeah, authors, a lot of the male authors are very charming. And yes, and I have always said a man can sell a woman almost anything if they're polite, respectful, their breath
Yes.
don't stink, and they smell good.
I love it. And I think you are so right. You are so right. Now, Shaniqua over on Instagram said that she's learning so much on this journey as a new author. So, what would be that one piece of advice you would give a new author besides what we just talked about? Because you already dropped some gems.
Just be yourself, you know. And I always say this: I know there's a you and there's an author you. Okay, be the author you, but
Mm,
let a little of you show as well. You want people to see, your professional side as well as your down to earth regular person side. You want to pay attention to your readers. If they make comments, if they ask questions, respond to them.
yes.
Have discussions, about your book. Post excerpts. Do little things that get people to pull for them to pull in. Get
Right.
them over to your website so you can get their email address. Give them goodies. Send them little things in the mail. that really blows readers' mind when they get something in the mail. Because what do you get in the mail nowadays? You get bills
And junk mail.
so to get something in the mail from an author is truly like, wow, like I said, just be consistent, be authentic, don't be, somebody you're not. And those readers will come, and you have to be consistent. I can't say that enough. You have to be consistent.
Absolutely. And consistent means so many things. I mean, consistent about writing, consistent about promoting your
Quality
book.
of your work.
I'm sorry?
The quality of your work.
Yes, very much so. And I said it before, I feel like it's so disrespectful to your readers to just throw anything out there because you want to hurry up and get your book out there. That
Exactly.
you don't take the time to put the care and love into the product that you've been laboring over.
They're gonna get you bad if you don't do it the right way. When self-published first started years and years ago, I read this book and I bought off the street in New York, and I took a red pen and was just going through the book with a red pen. And I wanted to send this book back to the author because it was so bad. Because I wanted my $15 back, right? But I knew it would kill his ego if I did that. I mean, he's done better since then, of course. And I guess he figured, he didn't need an editor, but edit your books because they will talk about you.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, my next guest is not in the studio yet. I hope he's coming because I see him watching the show, so I'm hoping he's coming. So, but yeah, he starts at 7:30, so I'm sure that he'll be popping up shortly. But we're just gonna talk until he shows up.
Okay. But like I said, my book, I want to say one more time, this is like a giant brainstorming session.
I
This
like
is
that.
giving you tips of how to do things, why you should do them, how you should do them, when you should do them. Like I said, you have things that you can do for free. You have things that's going to cost you $50 or me or more. It's gonna, you have all different ranges. And the brainstorming is to help you figure out what you want to do. I'm going to throw something at you and say, okay, well, if you want to reach this group, how are you going to reach them? And I give you ideas on how to reach that group. So it makes that brain start working like, oh yeah, okay, I want to reach this group. Is a group called Brown Girls or something like that. And she the author that I was helping with, she took my ideas and went crazy. And I was so proud because it was like, see, this is what, and I wanted to call it like a coaching book, but it's not, it's a tip book. But it helps you develop what's going on in your head and get it organized. That way you can go forth and do what you want to do.
Yeah, it is pretty overwhelming when you are doing things and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should try that too, or maybe I should try that too, or oh, I don't know how to do that, or
And
oh,
then
that
some
looks
people
too
don't have
hard.
anybody to talk to. Some people
Right.
really don't have anybody to talk to. So this is book. You can talk to the book. You can say, yeah, that's a good idea, or no, I'm not going to do that. So it's, again, like I said, it's a coaching session, it's a brainstorming session, but it's going to give you a whole bunch of tips of things you can do to get where you want to go.
Well, I think I'm gonna be getting that book myself because even though I've been in this game for a long time, I'm
There's always
always looking for
something
new ideas. You
always.
can never stop learning.
And plus, like I said, I'm looking at things from a fan's point of view. And that's what I see a lot of authors doing, is forgetting when they were just a fan. What did the authors do when you were just a fan, before you were an author? What did they do that you loved?
Yes, love
That's
it.
what you got to remember, and that's what you got to do for your readers.
Well, Deborah, this was great. I'm loving the jewels that you dropped.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for being on the show. So please remind us one more time how we can find your book and then also how we can find your beautiful bookmarks.
You can find me on Facebook at Odeb Simply Said. You can find me at my website at litversations.com. You can find me on Instagram at the Litversationalist. So, you can reach me and I answer promptly.
Awesome sauce. Well, once again, thank you very much. I really enjoyed our conversation. Let's make sure we stay in touch because I need those bookmarks for my event next year.
You got it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You
Okay.
enjoy your evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, so that was author Debra Owsley. She is the author of Act Like an Author, Think Like an Author, Act Like an Author, Think Like a Fan. Debra, I messed it all up, girl. I'm so sorry. I'm just excited. But without any further ado, we're going to bring on our next guest. But while he's coming in, I just want to show you guys one of my favorite t-shirts. And it's called I Need My Plots as Strong as My Coffee. If you're
I love that T-shirt.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
If you're anything like me, you have to have your coffee in the morning. It has to be a strong cup of coffee to get it going. Now, thank you, Debra. Think like an author, act like a fan. See, I knew she was going to correct me. But if you would like this t-shirt is available in my Etsy store. So just go to we'll put the Etsy store in the link. So that way you can just click on it, or in the chat. So that way you can just click on it if you'd like to get this t-shirt yourself. And then we also have some other author swag for you. But in the meantime, let's talk to Mr. Marc Beausejour, the Black Cyrano. I love saying it.
I like that you're finally saying it. I think I've known you 3 years, and then you haven't
told
really.
you the Black Cyrano before. I put it in the promo last year.
Well, no, you put it in a promo, yes, but to hear you say it, it's gratifying. That sounds good coming out your mouth, because as esteemed as you are, it's like a stamp of approval. So I love it. I love it.
Well,
Thank you.
Well, tell me, what is the Black Cyrano?
Okay, so basically, the history behind Black Cyrano is based off of one of my favorite literary characters, Cyrano de Bergerac, written by Edmond Rostand. As you have heard before, when I was young, I used to read a lot of old literature. Like, I used to read books from Europe and Spain and France. And Cyrano de Bergerac was one of my favorite stories because it's a story about a smart, intelligent soldier who had a large nose. He thought he was really ugly looking, but he had an infatuation for a young lady, and he didn't know how to talk to the young lady. So what he would do is he would write poems, and he would write poems with his friend's signature to send to the lady to let her know how he felt. So basically, I liken myself to him because my poems back in the day when I used to write, I used to love to bring emotions out of my readers. So whenever they read my poems, I love to see their reactions. I love to see how the words made them feel. Like, that brought me more gratification than any type of monetary reward. So that was one of the reasons why I came up with the name Cyrano. The black part is, of course, because I'm a black man, so I just had to put that in the beginning there. I was in my 20s when I came up with the name. So
so you've been the Black Cyrano for a long time.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And people have started calling me that now. So, a couple of years ago, I've had, some coworkers start calling me Cyrano. So, yeah, it's something I'm going to have to get used to because it's a brand that I'm going to start developing in the future. So,
I think you should. I love it. I mean, I mean, if you just started putting the Black Cyrano as your signature instead of Marc Beausejour, I wouldn't even be mad.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's definitely coming up. And Shanitha actually said, shout out to Shanitha, she's probably watching the live. Um, she said that I should start a T-shirt, make a T-shirt line for Black Cyrano, and then put it out. And I think, yeah, that's going to be developing soon. So that'll be in the future. So hopefully by the end of this year, 2025, hopefully we can develop some type of T-shirt line or something. Or mugs like what you got with the Meet the World image when you got the.
Yes.
I still drink tea out of that mug that you gave me every day. So
thank you.
Absolutely, I love it.
Now, you mentioned Shanitha. So you made a huge move in your literary career. Can you talk to us a bit about that?
Absolutely. So after the National Black Book Festival in Houston this past year, Um, I, of course, I spoke with my old publisher, my previous publisher before the event, and I called him and he told me that he would try to make it to the event. This was basically, and he didn't know this, but I was internally testing him to see if he
Mm,
would come because I already had one foot out the door because I was really dissatisfied with the lack of promotion of my books and the lack of communication from him, and then some of the pay disparity from him. So I was already leaning towards leaving him, but I was trying to give him a lifeline, and I invited him to come to Houston, and he didn't show up. So while he didn't show up, Shanitha was there, Shartia was there, and the rest of the family of Sheep Publishing was there, and they already. I was already, like you mentioned when you interviewed me with Gwen this past week. I loved how they ran their family, how they ran their operations since Washington D.C. So I already was thinking about changing publishing companies, but Shanita, she approached me and she said she noticed that I wasn't happy. She approached
right.
me. She said, "Mark, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine," but I really wasn't okay because I was thinking in my mind that it was going to be the end of my career as an author. I literally saw the end right there. So she said, "Mark, I don't want you to be sad. I want you to do what makes you happy." See, the thing that attracted me to her was she didn't ask me, like, beg me or anything or coerce me to come join Sheep Publishing. She just wanted me to be happy. And that right there made a bigger impact on me than any other publishing company that tried to reach out to me because I've had emails from other publishing companies trying to pull me to join them. So but I already knew once I left Houston, I was going to join Sheep.
I think that story is kind of a cautionary tale. We have a number of independent authors, or excuse me, independent publishers who watch the show, who also watch Black Authors Matter TV, and what you're seeing is a struggle that a lot of authors go through. Often, sometimes authors, we say as authors that sometimes readers are looked at as a dollar sign because, oh, I've got to get this person to buy my book. But sometimes authors can be looked at as a dollar sign by some publishers. And I'm not saying that this is what your current publisher did because I don't know him. So I'm not. This isn't to disparage him, but at the
Hmm.
same time, authors want to feel that they are appreciated and they're valued,
Yes.
and they don't want to feel like they're just a part of a machine. And
And that's,
there was a time
and
early in my career that I felt that way. I'm like, I don't want.
yes.
I why is it that I can never get in touch with you? Why is it that I don't hear from you? You don't reach out to me. You're not helping me through this process. You're not promoting my books. And I
Hmm.
felt like I was doing better by myself than I was with the person that was supposed to be helping me.
Exactly.
I do understand what you're saying. And at the same time, and this goes for any business owner, um, when you have people who trust you to give you their money for a service, they don't want to just have that service and be shooed away. They
Mhm.
want to know that they are valued. They want to know that they're trusted. And this is one of the reasons why Mark moved over because I watched you. The way you were watching, the way you talked with Shanitha and the She Publishing family when you came here to DC, and I saw the way you guys communicated in Houston for the National Black Book Festival. And I too love the way that that publishing company treats each other like family. They're cheering each other on. Remember, every time they said a She Publishing author's name, they cheered, yeah! And why
All the
wouldn't a
time.
person want to be a part of that type of positivity?
And that's what drew me. It wasn't just the cheers, but it was that they had their authors' backs. They were in full support of their authors. They put them front and center, and they celebrated them. And that's what I wanted. I wanted not just the constant promotion that the She Publishing family provided, but I wanted them to celebrate me. And what I appreciate, and this will be the first item that I'm going to display. What I appreciated was that Shanita said, "Hey, Mark, if you transfer all your books to Sheep Publishing, because no one has ever done this, transferring 6 books and relaunching 6 books through Sheep Publishing has never been done before. If you do this, when your books are relaunched in February, I'll put you on the cover of our newsletter magazine." And I was like, really? Because I didn't think I did anything to warrant being on the cover. But sure enough, when February came around and my books were published, she showed me this in the email. I don't know if y'all could see it, but
There you
I was
are.
on I was on the winter February edition of the BNB newsletter magazine, which you can also purchase on the She Publishing website as well. And like I said, I didn't expect to be part of on the cover, so I just thank Shanitha and the She Publishing family for doing this for me because it's the first time that I've ever been featured on any type of newsletter publication.
That's beautiful. So tell me about the books. Let's go through the books.
Absolutely. So, as you well know, I'm the author of the Black Cyrano series, which is a collection of 6 urban fiction novels. And the novels kick off with my first, which is called The Preacher's Web. And The Preacher's Web is a story about an embattled ex-football quarterback named Michael Hillman, who is turned into a pastor for his community in Queens, New York. And he's preaching love and forgiveness in a community that's ravaged by gang violence, uh, drug dealing, and prostitution. And he finds himself in the midst of controversy in several different ways. One way is when a friend comes back from his past seeking revenge. And then another way is basically um, a high school boy who was convicted of murder or is found guilty of murdering his girlfriend, and then the pastor knows that he's innocent. So the pastor has to put his reputation on the line to defend this young man. And then at the same time, there's a lot of secrets that are exposed. There's a lot of things that come out of the pastor's past, and then the pastor's struggling internally himself because back in high school, he used to be a little bit of a playboy. He had a lot of pride about him, and he has to try to keep his family together and his wife. He wants to continue loving his wife, but he's struggling with his lust. And he has a female member of the church that's pursuing him because she's going through a bad divorce with her husband. So that's why I call it the preacher's web because there's a whole different myriad around the issues. Yeah. So the title is very well warranted.
Did you see this comment from the Right Warrior?
I think I saw it. He said, "Why is that book so big?"
And did you see this other one?
Also, you looking like Method Man's second cousin. I mean, Wu-Tang, that's one of my favorite groups too coming up. So, yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm from Queens, New York. So I rep that all day. So I appreciate that, Right Warrior. Appreciate that. And then after that, my next book, which is a follow-up to The Preacher's Web, is Adia's Ballad. And this is one of my favorite books in the series because it basically challenged me to write from a female perspective because this story is about the sister of the victim who was shot in The Preacher's Web. Her name was Lori McAfee, the victim. So the sister Andrea McAfee is basically dealing with the loss of her older sister. And basically she comforts herself by singing, and then she basically gets discovered in a talent show by a record exec who basically signs her to a contract. And she turns into an R&B star, and she travels, she tours, and she gets into a whirlwind relationship with a rapper at the time or a hip hop artist. And then she discovers a dark side of the music industry. And in this book, I basically I go into the backdrop of the hip hop industry in New York. As you know, New York, whether it's contention or not, is the birthplace of hip hop. So I put like battling record companies, and I also have ciphers going on between groups, that are battling. So there's the one scene I like in this book where 2 record companies have different rappers that are going against each other, and they're about to go to blows, basically at a nightclub. So, but I still like this story because it's a coming of age story. Andrea has to learn to find herself through the tragedy and also navigate as a teenager in this music industry. So, Adia's Ballad, definitely one of my favorite bestsellers among young women. I actually handed this to a couple of girls when they were graduating high school, about to go to college. So, definitely one of my favorite books.
It sounds like you're passionate about that book.
Oh yes, because just looking at it our young black women don't have it easy in this country. Our young black girls, they're fighting a lot, and they're fighting with insecurity. They're fighting with sometimes trying to find their identity in this world. They're trying to find out, and then they're also fighting with discrimination, in the workplace, sexual harassment. So I want to show my queens some love, and this is something that I enjoyed writing because I love my queens. You already know that, Rhonda. So.
Yes, yes, that is so true.
And for all my ladies out there, they know that too. So I can add that in there.
Shaniqua Dupree asked if you see, I think she was asking about the last book, but she asked if you see your books going into a short film.
I actually do, yes. So my books definitely, after the publishing is complete and then talking with Shanitha, we're definitely planning, trying to get in the works, something that's going to be done with the books in the future, try to get it adapted into a film or maybe even Netflix series or some type of series because, streaming is big now. So, the series, definitely I could see these books either being a movie or a short series, like a limited series. Let me jump to the next book real quick though. So I got Fires of Justice, which is also one of my favorite books too. And this is a thriller novel, a thriller social justice novel. And basically it's about a teacher who moves from New York to Georgia. And then he basically is pursued and obsessed upon by one of his white students. She's a 16-year-old girl who happens to be his neighbor. And she becomes dangerously obsessed with him to the point where she's following him. She's, trying to be sensually infatuated with him, even though she knows that he's a married man. And then he tries to avoid her, but one day a confrontation turns physical and he gets arrested. And then he goes to jail. So this book basically goes into the psychological warfare that he goes through behind bars. And at the meantime, his wife, Kalia, basically calls her cousin, which is Detective Isaac Sands from The Preacher's Web. And by this time, Detective Sands has relocated to Georgia. And then she calls upon him to investigate a plot to have this man framed for a crime that he didn't commit. So that's why it's still connected to The Preacher's Web, because I still use some characters in one way, shape, or form.
You better cross over those characters and use them in more than one book.
Got to.
Just too big for one book.
Absolutely. And then you start to build a relationship with those characters too.
Yes.
You start building relationships with them and they become part of you. So you never want to really separate yourself from them or just discard them after one book. So that's why I decided to use Isaac Sands again. And then my next book is Split Decision. And Split Decision was inspired by my membership at a UFIT gym close to me where I took up boxing lessons. And then I love the art of boxing. I love the science of boxing. So this is a sports drama novel, which is centered around a Haitian middleweight contender named Silvio Dominique. And so basically, he's going for the middleweight title, but he finds himself distracted by a young woman that he knows from a long time ago. Him and his young woman basically get involved in an intense relationship. But what he doesn't know about this woman is that she has gang ties and she also has ties to his next opponent. So basically, the person that she's tied to, the gang leader, gives Silvio an ultimatum. I want you to throw the championship fight. And if you don't throw the fight, we're going to hunt you. So now he has to make a quick decision. Do I win for my pride or do I lose and keep my life? So that's why it's called Split Decision. That was a play on words right there. So sports novel, this is definitely big among gym goers and guys who like to be active. My male readers definitely love Split Decisions. So I got something for everybody here.
I see you.
And then we got I see the Right Warrior says powerful writings. Appreciate it, Right Warrior. Thank you. And then I got Split Decision 2, which is a follow-up to Split Decision. And Split Decision 2 basically takes place 6 years after the events in Split Decision. And then Silvio, he's a owner. He's actually co-owner of a community center that he owns with his trainer. But the community center is getting low on funds. And then he doesn't see any other alternative but to put on his gloves and then come out of retirement and get back in the ring. The problem is that his trainer is going through some mental issues. And really, in this book, this is the first book where I highlight male mental health because his trainer is dealing with a lot of trauma that stems from the death of his son, and then he doesn't know if he wants to train Silvio again. So I use a lot of flashback, and I go into the past of the trainer, whose name is Jim Shaw, and it goes into his past, and then basically he really contends with himself. Do I want to train Silvio again? But the problem is that the next opponent was a former MMA fighter. So the MMA fighter actually wants to fight Silvio because Silvio didn't give him an autograph when he was younger. And he felt that Silvio shunned him. So he's like, you know what? You think you're the big stuff now. I want to fight you now if you're coming out of retirement. So this is a really good book as well. And then, of course, last but not least, I got Street Retribution. So Street Retribution is my latest novel. It's basically a story about, now let me take y'all back. So the Preacher's Web and Adia's Ballad, there's a key court scene in the Preacher's Web.
Okay.
And then there's a key witness that testifies against the main gang leader, Tadarius Hill. So basically, this key witness, his name is Antonio Franks. So after he testifies against the gang leader, for his safety, Antonio Franks changes his name to Edward Reed. So Edward Reed becomes a lawyer. He goes down, he gets his law degree, and then he comes back up to New York. He becomes a successful lawyer. And then he finds out that Tadarius, he got some strings pulled for him, and he got some connections. So he was able to get paroled and get out of jail early. And then his first order of business is to hunt Antonio Franks down. At this time, he doesn't know that he's Edward Reed yet. So because Edward Reed is still in hiding, but he knows that his life is in danger. So this book basically is about the bounty that's put on Edward Reed's head, along with David Anderson, who happens to be the man that was basically framed for murder in the Preacher's Web. So definitely, this is a book that y'all want to get to. There's definitely elements of romance. There's elements of danger, adventure, mystery. All of it is included in this book. And then, if I may, I'd like to go ahead and also talk about the next book that will be coming out.
Okay, well, before you jump to the last book, I believe I heard you say earlier in the interview that the books you switched all of the books over to She Publishing, and yes. I believe the first book was released in February.
So are you talking about when they were relaunched, or?
Yeah, the relaunch. I'm wondering what the schedule is. They were
all relaunched in 1 week, starting February 20th. So they were all relaunched on 1 week. So that's why it's history. It's never happened before, as far as She Publishing was concerned. So all in 1 week, they were able to relaunch all 6 books. And then, of course, there's going to be a 7th book that will be coming out. And if I may, I want to kind of give my audience a kind of a preview of what the 7th book will be about.
Go right ahead.
So in the morning, while I was doing a devotional, because when I wake up, and I should do it more, I like to read the Word and kind of like get into it, like the Bible, read daily verses here. I stumbled across this verse, and it gave me the idea for the next book. I will carry out great vengeance on them and punish them in my wrath. Then they will know that I am the Lord when I take vengeance on them. That was Ezekiel 25, verse 17. So the title of my next book is called Divine Vengeance.
Oh, yes. I love the title.
Yeah, and Divine Vengeance, basically, just to give you an overview, Edward Reed is tired of being on the defensive. He's been running away from Tadarius Hill for too long. He knows his life is in danger. Street Retribution ends with an ominous phone call that Edward Reed receives. One of his family members had been abducted by Tadarius. And Edward has but little time to ensure his safety. So instead of waiting for the worst to happen to his family member, Edward decides to go on the offensive. So it's a book that's going to have a lot of twists and turns, a lot of plot twists.
When can we expect this? Because that sounds like a great book.
That will be released this spring. So Divine Vengeance should be coming out this spring. We don't have a date set in place yet, but once we can open the link for pre-order, I will make the announcement through She Publishing's site, and then everybody can make the pre-order. But we know that it will be released this spring.
Wonderful. Now, Henry Razor, who is one of your fellow She Publishing authors,
what's up, Henry?
He says that you're a very creative thinker, and I would agree. In the couple of minutes that we have left, where do you find your ideas? I know you said with the last one, the idea came when you were reading your scriptures, but where do you get your ideas for your books?
If this was an easy answer, I would give it in a snap. But so it's a combination of different other books I've read,
Hmm.
films that I've watched, and just stories that I've heard in passing, and just God inspired. I mean, literally, I cannot tell you. There's not one solid place where my stories come from. I know that Split Decision 1 and 2, the love that Silvio has for the girl Valentina, it's a love between a Haitian man and a Dominican woman. And if you know the relationship between a Haitian man and Dominican woman, especially in the islands, the relationship is really not very good in most areas. So I want to paint like a Romeo and Juliet-esque type scenario there. So I do use some Shakespearean elements in Split Decision. So definitely Shakespeare inspired some of my writing, and definitely Spike Lee. I love Spike Lee coming up, and I know the Spike Lee joints because Spike Lee, he always used a lot of realism in his
Yes,
movies, and he wasn't afraid to tackle controversial issues. So that's what I wanted my books to do. I wanted my books to tackle controversial issues. I wanted people to start discussions with my books in book clubs, in book meetings, and I wanted situations where authors really couldn't speak out loud, like, oh man, I don't think I could say what this person did, you know. But I just that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be controversial, but I wanted to be inspirational as well.
absolutely. That's beautiful. Um, I'm, I'm sure I've said it before. I know I've said it before, but I'm very proud of just your trajectory and how seriously you take writing as well as the literary industry, and you continue to keep doing better. The comments are coming all through Instagram. Henry said he's going to contact you to obtain the Preacher's Web and the follow up.
Okay.
Um, Black Mom's Reality. We know Michelle. She says she loves you and she's so proud of you, and she's sure that she's going to be cast for the movie.
Yeah. Let Michelle know that I'm definitely going to. I'm gonna talk to the casting director. I'm gonna let him know to put Michelle in a role. Definitely,
Well,
definitely.
if it's that easy, I
I'm
want to be
about
in the
you.
movie too.
Oh no, no, no! I got you, Rhonda. And of course, your daughter could be in it too because she's an actress too. So
Yeah,
you know, I,
she's the actual actress. She should be in the movie.
yeah, 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 yeah. I got y'all. I got y'all. Don't worry. And when it's in the works, y'all know. But we're taking it step by step because I want this to be a patient process. So we're taking it day
Yes,
by day. What I love is that I actually see a trajectory in this journey that I'm in now. So now I see the rewards because I'm involved in works of other authors. Calentia Miller, who was in DC,
yes,
who actually I've actually had the pleasure of being a co-author in her book, A Love Letter to Ourselves. I'm sure she told you about that. I don't know if you have a copy of the book, but one of my poems are in that book. A Love Letter to Ourselves. So I was very fortunate to be included in her anthology. I've been asked to be involved in other projects as well. So other than the monetary rewards, is just a collaboration with other authors, and I'm thankful for it because now I'm getting people calling me and asking me to help them with their works, which is a rewarding experience. So, and I think that's helping expand my brand, the Black Cyrano brand. So for that, I'm thankful
absolutely.
for She Publishing for opening those doors even wider.
Well, we've come to the end of the interview, but once again, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for supporting the show, and congratulations on your success. And I look forward to seeing you doing even bigger and better things as you move through this entire literary journey. You're going to be that person that when they say black books, when they say great books, your name is going to be mentioned in those categories. So keep doing what you're doing.
And I look at guys like Eric Jerome Dickey. I look at authors like Alex Haley. And when I see male Black authors like that, all I want is like when my time on Earth is done, I want to be sort of like on the same wavelength as those guys, where their books are still being talked about to this day, because that's a legacy I want to leave. I want to leave a legacy where I can inspire other future authors like they inspired me. So thank you so much.
And thank you. Well,
Mhm.
everybody, we've come to the end of the show, but we're going to show Marc's website one more time. You can go to the She Publishing website, shepublishingllc.com. You go to the store and then look for the Black Cyrano series by
Yeah.
Marc A. Beausejour.
That
And
that link takes you directly to my collection. So and
there
it's the
you go.
order page too. So you can actually click which one you want, and then you can place your order right there. So very
Perfect.
easy.
All right. So once again, guys, thank you. This was another great show. Thank you for all of the engagement. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for sharing the show. Let's continue to make this show grow. If you have not already done so, make sure you like us on Instagram at Meet the World Image Solutions. And you can also find us on YouTube, Meet the World Image Solutions, there as well. And let's like the show, let's follow the show, and share it. If you would like to be an author, March is filled up, but we do have featured author slots in April, and we would love for you to be on the show so we can help to promote your book. And then we also have a new Instagram page coming very soon where we're going to be promoting authors there as well. So if you'd like more information about that, make sure that you contact me either on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on all those. But we're even broadcasting on X, believe it or not. So make
Ooh,
sure that you
cool.
reach out to me so you can get more information on how you can be a featured author on this show. We want to continue to promote our up and coming authors, our independent authors, and this is the platform of choice to do that. So thank you once again for joining me. Make sure that you reach out and join me tomorrow on Black Authors Matter TV on the National Black Book Festival Facebook page. Also, don't forget to get your T-shirt. I need my plots as strong as my coffee. The Etsy website is in the chat if you would like more information.
I might have to cop one of them shirts now. I'm telling you.
Yes, do
I
that.
got you. I got you.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you.
All right. We good, right?